There I was. I was back in the airport. Raise your hand if you like airports. I didn't expect you to raise your hand. But there I was back in the airport, and I was traveling alone. Southwest, flight 244. And so they rolled me up, they rolled me up to the terminal, and I roll up and I'm in a wheelchair, and so you know what that means? I get to skip the line. Focus on your strengths, people. And so they roll me up and they say, this is gonna be a full flight. I said, no worries. And so, they roll me down that long terminal. And they put me into the front row. It's a 3-seater row. There are 2 seats there, and I sit towards the window, so there's 2 seats next to me. And like I said, I remember the flight attendant saying, honey, this is gonna be a full flight. So that's fine, I already got my seat. And the plane started to fill in. The plane started to fill in, and people are looking at me and then looking away. I'm sitting there and the plane's filling in and no one wants to sit next to me. Have you ever felt like you were invisible? Have you ever felt like you weren't good enough? Look around. That was the case for me. It brought me back to the moment when I was in elementary school, when I was in middle school, when I was high school, when I felt so absolutely disgusting with myself that no one wanted to sit next to me on this plane. And so, I always say, when I was a young kid, I didn't realize this whole package I had going on. I thought I was just a normal kid living life, but other people let me know that I was different. And so there was a time, I was probably in 3rd grade, and it was a hot summer day. It was probably May, it was a hot summer day. And I remember it was hot because when I jumped off onto the field, my butt cheeks were on fire. And so, I jump out of my wheelchair, we're about to play recess, and the kids are playing kickball. And so I'm like, man, I'm gonna play kickball. But I'm so pumped up, so proud of myself. And I remember I'm sitting there and I'm in between the catcher and the pitcher. And the pitcher walks up and the catcher said something that I'll never forget. He said, how are you gonna let a cripple score on you? I'm in 3rd grade. I don't even know what this word means, but I know that it's negative. I know that it had this negative connotation. And so this was my first glimpse of why me? Raise your hand if at least one time in your life you said, why me? Look around the room. It's everyone. We all get a taste of that victim mentality, the why me? And so for me, I'm like, I just beat you fair and square. I don't even have legs and I beat you. Like, why are you calling me these names? I don't get it. Why me? Why do the kids got to call me these names? And so I realized that, I don't like the way I'm feeling. And I need to be able to master my emotions. The power of reframing literally changed my life. And what I mean by that is right now we are floating in life through plain energy. We are floating through life in plain energy, and someone comes up to you, calls you a bad name or whatever it may be that you don't think you like it. It's up to you whether you attach a disempowering meaning behind it or an empowering meaning behind it. You can become the victim of the situation or the victor of the situation. And so I realized, I need to reframe things. You know the saying, the world's happening to you and not for you. I meant the world's happening to you and not for you. We've all heard that. But how do we take that into our life? How do we take that into our kids? How do we take that into our business and our families? We have to always condition these practices. You can't just go to the gym and expect to work out for a week and be fit for the rest of your life. I wish. I'd be great at it. But you need to always condition because the training never stops. And so here I am, and I finally realized the reframe of women and relationships, whatever. You like women, you like guys, whatever it may be. I figured out the reframe for me that literally changed my life. Because girls were my biggest suicidal trigger. I never got that love, and so I would stack these thoughts and dig myself in these deep, dark holes. And I didn't know a way out until I figured out how to reframe it. And so the way I figured out how to reframe it is this body that I have going on right now, your body that you have going on right now, all the things that you felt were disgusting, negative, whatever it may be, this body is an authentic filter. This body is an authentic filter, and it's filtering out the type of women that I don't want in my life anyway. If a girl doesn't want to further a connection with me, if a girl doesn't want to further a connection with me, if a girl doesn't want to build a relationship with me, if a girl doesn't want to love on me because my physical differences, there's the door. Because the one thing I've realized, and I'm saying this as a brother, is no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. The only person that's going to make a drastic change in your life, whether that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the only person that is going to dig you out of your hole is who? You. What are you going to do to dig yourself out of this hole? And so my older brother was a wrestler. All my best friends were wrestlers, and I just thought wrestlers were the most coolest thing in the world. I always looked up to wrestlers, and so, I thought about it. And I came into school one day, and my friends were like, Nick, you always tell people to try new things, get out of your comfort zone. Why don't you try wrestling? And I said, I can't, my arm. And what I mean by that is this arm, let me pull this guy, it looks like a potato. We call it the potato now, it used to look like a chicken wing. And so basically, this arm was about 5 inches longer than it is now. And my bone was growing faster than my skin. So it was like your finger, but super sensitive, and I couldn't really touch it on things. And the bottom line is, if I would have hit my arm hard enough, my bone would have came through my skin. And the reason why I said, I told that part where I start with can't is because the majority of not only entrepreneurs, but humans, we start with can't always. Raise your hand if at least one time in your life someone looked at you and said, you can't do that. Look how empowering we are. It's not empowering, guys. It's very disempowering. And so this phrase that I kind of frame my whole life on is it's not can't, but how. This is how I view my whole entire life, in my personal life, in my business life. Everything gets framed, it's not can't, but how. And the reason why I let you know is because it's not just mindset mumbo jumbo. This isn't just magic. But like I said, humans are very disempowering creatures. And so when you start off with can't, I can't do this because I'm not tall enough. I can't do this because I don't have the resources. I can't do this because I'm not old enough. Whatever it may be, we all have these limiting beliefs, right? And they're not empowering. And so when we frame something as how, it's not only more empowering, but when you view things as how, your mind will start stimulating more solutions. Rather than can't. You're not going to stimulate any solutions if you start off with can, I'll tell you that. And so I frame everything as how, and so here I am, and I'm like, man, I want to be a wrestler. I came home one day, I'm sure my mom remembers this very clearly, and I came home one day and I waited for both my parents to get home. I waited for both my parents to come home, and I sat them down and I said, Mom and Dad, I want to be a wrestler. My mom was like, oh no, Nick, God forbid, wrestling's the most physical sport. What are you going to do if your bone comes through your skin? What are you going to do then? You know how moms are, like freaking out always? You see, in life, we're always going to have the outside noise, right? Raise your hand if you got some haters. Oh, means you're doing something right. But listen, in life, we're always going to have the outside noise, right? We're always going to have the outside noise, the haters, the naysayers, the people that tell us that our goals are too big, that we're not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, whatever it may be. But we all have a choice. The choice is you can let the outside noise affect you or drive you. What's it going to be? You can let the outside noise affect you or drive you. Like I said, right now, we're just floating through plain energy. You are the dictator. You are the captain of your boat, whether you let things affect you in a negative way or a positive way. And so I looked at these people. I said, you're right. What was I thinking? I'm not going to become a wrestler. I'm going to become a varsity wrestler. And you're going to watch. But literally, there's been so many times in our lives, not only my life, but your life, where people tell you can't do something, right? Where would I be if every single time someone said you can't do that, I was like, you're right, and I bowed down? Where would you be if every single time someone told you can't do something, you listened to them? Where would your parents be? We wouldn't be here. And so I always want you guys to have that in your mind, is like, am I gonna let this affect me and sink me, or let it elevate me and drive me? The quote I put up there is one of the most powerful quotes. Is what I've realized over the 23 years of my life, it's not the physical body that holds us back. It's not the physical body that holds us back, but it's the mindset. The biggest disability you can have is a bad mindset. It's not this. We are handicapped, we are crippled by our limiting beliefs, by the thoughts up here. And so this is everything. Your mindset is the superpower to everything. Once you master your mind, you master your life. And so all these little techniques that I've been talking about, you need to always condition them. You need to always implement into your life and ask yourself, how can I get better at this? How can I keep exercising the muscle? And so I competed, and I was backstage. I was pumping up for my competition, and my buddy comes running up to me and goes, dude, The Rock just posted you on his Instagram. And I'm a millennial, and The Rock's got 140 million Instagram followers. So I was like, oh, this is great PR. This is going to be great. And so he wrote this really long, heartfelt message, and at the end he said, I want to thank Nick for sharpening my perspective a little bit more on life. And I thought, wow, moment of reassurance. I kind of got a little bit emotional because I realized that if I can not only motivate and inspire, but shift the perspective of top tier of the world, that I may not have legs, but I'm here to make a massive footprint in this world before I leave.